On these all-important trade talks, let's bring in Steve Moore, former Trump economic advisor and co-founder of Unleash Prosperity, and Lou Basenese is executive vice president of market strategy at the Prairie Operating Company. Welcome to you both. Are you optimistic, Lou, on what you're hearing here?
I am optimistic, and there's data that supports it. China needs us way more than some of these talking heads have been talking about the rare earths, because their exports to the U.S. in the month of May were down 34.4%. There's $700 billion worth of trade that China can't replace by shipping it elsewhere. They only had a growth of 11% to other countries, and their economy is struggling. By my estimates, if they don't come to a truce with the United States, their GDP will fall by a full 2 percentage points, which is untenable for them trying to maintain a 5% GDP target. So I think President Trump has a leverage. China has some when it comes to rare earths, but they need us way more than we need them.
I mean, Steve, the leverage, the numbers speak for themselves that Lou's referring to. We can pop the Chinese exports to the U.S. up on our screen here, and folks at home can see very clearly the drop in those exports, May 2024 to May 2025. Those exports to us are down 35% now. That's got to give us some leverage in this negotiating, Steve.
Yeah, you better believe it. You and Lou are exactly right about that. And, you know, I would only say I think Lou may have underestimated the impact on the Chinese economy, if anything. I mean, I think they go into a Great Depression if the trade war continues and they can't ship their goods. I mean, my goodness, you show on Fox all the time the massive amounts of those cargo ships, Sandra, that are stuck there in their ports that they can't send anywhere because the markets are not open to the U.S. So that is the leverage that Trump is playing. The one thing that's so tricky about this is that, unlike, you know, if you're negotiating with the Europeans or with the UK or Canada, where you have an honest broker at the other side of the table, the Chinese are not honest brokers here. You can't believe them. It's like when Reagan used to have to negotiate with the old Soviet Union. I mean, you're dealing with an evil empire here. It makes it a lot tougher to get a deal. And the problem is, Sandra, once they do get a deal, I bet they probably will at some point, then you have to make sure that they live by it.
Yeah, and you know, we just had Edward Lawrence reporting there from London. You saw the Treasury Secretary Basenese there in London. Kevin Hassett, we know, is at the center of these negotiations for the White House. And here he is talking about the purpose of today's meeting in London. Listen.
In Geneva, we had agreed to lower tariffs on them, and they had agreed to release the magnets and rare earths that we need throughout the economy. And they were kind of releasing them, but it was going a lot slower than some companies believed was optimal. The purpose of the meeting today is to make sure that they're serious, but to literally get handshakes from Scott and Howard and Jameson, our 3 lead trade negotiators, and get this thing behind us.
So, Lou, let me get your final thought on that before I move on to this business roundtable and the potential that we're going to see and hear from the president in just a moment here.
Yeah, it's prudent politics. I mean, it harkens back to Reagan's days, trust but verify, right? We had trust that they were going to do what they said they were going to do. We got to verify it and get a handshake and then move forward, because that's what the markets need. That's what this economy needs. And that's what this president needs, is progress towards a resolution, a definitive one.
All right. So,
Senator, can I just add one quick thing on this point? This is infuriating to me, because there's no country in the world that has more rare earths than we do here at home. In Colorado, in the mountains of the Dakotas, in Montana, it's almost criminal. For the last 25 years, we shut down our mining, and now we have to be depending on China. I mean, it's just infuriating. Let's mine, baby, mine.
All right, well, while I've got you all worked up, Steve, this is the investor roundtable, sorry, the live shot at the White House there, as we were awaiting a shot inside the White House, as we could see and hear from the president any moment now. I call it a business roundtable. You might as well call it an investor roundtable, right? Because the NVIDIA CEO, ahead of this meeting, said there's no greater investment than in our children's future. President Trump's plan is visionary, a seed fund for America's next generation. Of course, he is referencing the Trump account details. It's a pilot program in the One Big Beautiful Bill. But we know that present there will be Michael Dell, founder, chairman and CEO of Dell Technologies. You've got all these CEOs, Goldman Sachs, Robinhood, and more, that are going to be sitting down with this president. Give us your thoughts on what's about to happen there with President Trump as they enter into some pretty serious conversations.
Well, as I look at the president's economic agenda, and you look at the tax cuts, the big, beautiful tax bill, which I think is going to pass sometime in the next 2 months, and then you look at the deregulation, you look at the DOGE savings, you look at the pro-American energy policies, those are all very pro-investment, Sandra. And so I think once you get these things done, especially with the trade deals, you're going to see an explosion of investment in the United States. And I think we will continue to be the alpha male of the world economy, even more so. Everybody's going to want to invest in the United States with this agenda. I
just want to, Lou, give our viewers a better idea of what we're going to be looking at with this announcement of the Trump account. It's this $1,000 Trump account investments for kids. It's to be included in this GOP mega bill for every U.S. citizen born between January 1st and 2024 to January 1st, 2029. $1,000 will be added to a tax-deferred index fund. The account would be controlled by the child's guardians, and there's an option to contribute up to $5,000 per year to it. You like this idea?
I like it so much I have to consider having more kids. I mean, I'm blessed with 4 kids. I might have to have a 5th. I mean, everyone that's in the investment world knows this. The sooner you start investing, the better odds of success in having a secure retirement. This will set up so many kids for that possibility and really help educate parents, too, to plan early, plan often, and benefit from what we are seeing is reinvestment in America, revitalization in America, all spurred on by a lot of tech companies and tech CEOs at President Trump's encouragement. All
right, Steve, 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, it's going to make every single American a capitalist, a free market capitalist, an owner. I love this. It's a great idea. Owner capitalism.
Got it. Thanks to both of you. Lou, Steve, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.